All right, we're back in Photopea, and today we're going to take a photo and we're going to add some alterations to it through adding digital drawings and collage. So on Canvas, you'll find an image of the Delta Art Room. I'm going to ask that you download that file, and we're going to bring it into Photopea and start making some alterations using this digital platform. So once you have it downloaded, what you're going to want to do is open it up. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to click Open. And I'm going to find that image of the art room and upload it. Now, this is going to look very similar to what you've worked on before. You're going to find the image is located as its own layer. It's going to say background. You're going to be able to toggle that on and off. You're going to notice that you have all of the same tools. We're going to talk about a couple new tools today. And if you zoom in, you are going to see pixels. This is going to be the key to success with this, with collage or adding things. So a couple of things that you can do is you can add digital drawing to this. Typically what I'm going to encourage you to do is lock the background. We want to keep this photo basically the same, and we can make alterations over top of it. To add a new layer on top of it, you're going to come down here to the lower right. You'll see next to the trash can, there's a piece of paper with a folded lower left corner. It says new layer. When I hover over it, I'm going to click on that. I have a new layer. And you can title these. I find that adding things in with titles helps me stay organized. So again, this is going to be on top. You can imagine you put something on top of the image. We can't alter the background. I've got this area selected. It's a lighter gray. And I can come in and I can literally draw on the blackboard. Now, if you have a stylus, you can use that. Or you can just simply use your trackpad. And again, all the functions from before. Command Z, you can change your pixel size. You can alter the colors, you can add gradients, you can experiment with that. You can even go in and use your eraser tool. Now notice that because we are up above on that layer, we're not going to be able to erase the things on the image. That's why we lock it. We keep it the same. I'm going to Command Z some of this away. So I could do digital illustrations. Maybe I want to go in and create a character here in this chair. I can draw some blobs. I can go through. I can fill those blobs. I can alter it. I can edit it up. So you're welcome to add in some digital artwork, going in, editing pixels. You can zoom in and make some alterations here if you want. Have some fun with it. Try to experiment with your craft. Try to see what happens whenever I change the opacity on some of these tools. What would a mustache with a different opacity look like? Let me go back in. Backward. Okay, so I'm seeing that showing up through, and that's showing what's below. So experiment with those different tools. Another thing that I want to show you today is how to add in a collage image. And in the other tab, I've Googled T-Rex. I think it'd be funny to have a T-Rex in here. So I can go to images. Some of the things that you can change with the tools is you can make sure that it's a medium or large size. Obviously, the bigger pixels, the better. You want to find something that's interesting to you. I really like this Christmas sweater one. I want to download that, take the T-Rex out of it, and add it into the image. So that's what I want to show you how to do. I've got the image here. What I want to do is I want to click Open Image in New Tab. It's going to open it in a new tab. That's going to give it its maximum resolution. And then I'm going to right click and save image as. I'm just going to call this T-Rex, and I'm going to save this on my desktop. Okay, so I've got this image saved, and now I want to add it in here, and I want to make it look like it's part of the original scene. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to go to File, and instead of Open, which is going to open it as its own image, I'm going to Open and Place. This is going to place that image on top of it. So do not use Open. That's just going to open it as its own file. Open and Place opens it within the file you're working on. Find my T-Rex friend here. You'll notice it adds a new layer. Now, if you want to move it around, we have the Move tool at the top. You can move it. One of the things that I like is that we can resize it. I like to hold down the Shift key so I don't distort it. If we don't hold down the Shift key, we can make it too narrow, but if we hold the Shift key, it locks it into place. And now what I want to do is I want to edit this. So I want to remove some of the background. And there's a couple different ways to do this. Now you'll notice that we are selected on the layer. That's important. One of the first things that we can do is go in and use the eraser tool. And I can make this much larger. And it says it needs to be rasterized. Sometimes it'll do this. It'll turn it into a pixel image. So you click, OK, yes, I want to rasterize it. Another way to do that is to go into Layer, and I believe it says rasterize if you haven't already. So it's rasterized. This allows me to delete parts of the image. Again, if you want, you can go and zoom in. You can get on a pixel level. You can get super detailed in here. You can change your brush size. We can go in. This is the very old school way. This is kind of like collage with scissors. This is going to remove those areas, so I'll get in real close. Again, I can zoom out. You can see that I'm starting to erase some of that area. Again, you can always go back and get more. Use the right bracket. That'll make your tool a little bit bigger, and that'll help me get rid of some of those details. Another thing that you can use is the selection tool, and we can actually remove this from there. So you'll see we have a rectangular selection, ellipse select, polygon, magnetic lasso. These will all help you get close to that. With the rectangular select, you could actually select part of the image. You could copy it. Go into Edit, Copy. We can go to Edit, Paste. It's going to add a new layer again with it. Doesn't look like anything happened. Let's take that off. That's that layer now. We can have two of them. How do you know there's two there? I've got it selected. I can move it. You can double things up. So that gives you nice crisp shapes. The Magic Wand tool or Quick Selection tool is a really fun one to use. It's going to analyze the image real quick. What I do is I go in and I will drag it over and it'll start selecting, but oh no, I selected too much. What I want to do is click the negative arrow and I can start to remove some of the selection if I've gone in with a little too much. So you can go back and forth and alter with this, going near the edges. So this can help. Again, kind of working back and forth. If you need to, you can zoom in. I have all this extra stuff I don't need. I'll take that negative mark. You might need to clean this up at the end. That's okay. But this is just a way to get started. So I'm coming around, I'm checking my edges. I see I come down here to the leg. I click the plus. Okay, I'm going around the legs here. Just checking. It's always better to have too much, but if you find that you have a little too much, come back in with that negative area and you'll see that dotted line kind of comes towards it. So this is just a quick way to get some of those. Make sure you got all your pieces. I see some of the shoulder is disappearing here. I'll come back in and add that. So what do I do once I have this? Well, what you can do is you can edit and cut it out, and that's going to remove that. Oh, shows that I didn't get that center section, so I'm going to come back in, add that in. Again, always good to experiment. So I'm going to edit. I'm going to cut this being out. It's no longer there. Oh, I don't have the teeth. Again, kind of a play game with this. That's why I like to cut it out. You can see what you didn't get. I'm coming back in. I'm adding all these things. Again, we can clean up the edges with the erase tool, but we're just going close. We're removing it. Okay, it's too much. Edit cut, control cut, it's out of there. Okay, I can delete this layer by coming over and clicking the trash can. What can I do next? Well, I can go edit, I can paste, I'm back in the mix. I can go in with the eraser tool. I can zoom in, I can clean up some of this extra stuff that I don't need. Now I'm showing the background. So this just takes a little extra effort on some of this, but it's a fun way to get rid of some backgrounds and add some of the creatures. So I would take my time, I'd clean this up, I'd go in, I'd work slowly, try to make it as accurate as possible. Let's say I want to move it or resize it. What do? I click on that move layer, I see my layer is selected. I can move this in different locations. Can put the dinosaur in here. Let's say that I want to see that desk and I want the leg to disappear. Well, what can I do? I can start to click on that layer and see where it says opacity. You can bring that back. It's going to start making it transparent. You can go in with the eraser tool and erase around the edge of the desk and the phone. So really what I want you to do is just get experimenting with these different tools, see what they work, see what you can add to this. You can add details in. If you want, you can even take parts of the background, you can duplicate it, cut out the desk, move it around, experiment with some photo editing. go onto Google, use the search bar up here. It'll help you learn the program. Everybody's going to approach it differently. But let's say you finished up, you've got this the way that you want it. What you're going to want to do is make sure everything is in place. You've cleaned it up. You're going to File, Export as JPEG. So come up with some options. If you zoom out, it'll show the whole image there. You can go to pixels, you can go to inches, you can keep it the way that it is. Typically, it's good to keep it in the 6-inch range, and if you put your first mark there and then you tab, it'll do the second one. Try to keep the quality 70 to 100% somewhere. Click Save. This will go to your desktop, and then you can upload it into the discussion board so we can see how you've altered this space. So take the image of the art room, consider adding images in, consider adding digital drawings, alter it up, make it your own. Keep it appropriate, have fun with it, and then share it out.